All right, y'all, today we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business. Going to see for its local search, see for its city search if either of them, any of them got BSS. Then we're back here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that pinned video, pinned post, home video, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our FSIC graph in white down here. Highest intent people on the left is people using social search, Google search, searching for a boudoir photographer in their or boudoir photo shoot in their city right now. And as a result, they're we talk about them BSS videos here. Over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps. Talk about dealing with these or reaching these peeps on our sister channel, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS. And over there, we currently only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. Now, boudoir search sameness is BSS. That means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots, page 1 on Google. 0 slots, page 1, we cannot have that. We're dying a fast death here because that means we're on page 2 or deeper. The reason that matters is we know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. That's right, they're one and done only. They're page 1 and done only searches. So for our page 2 or deeper, we're visible to approximately 80% of the market, so the bulk of the market. 1 slot on page 1 is also not good enough. Everyone on page 1's got 1 slot. So, it's us and most likely 9 other boudoir photographers. We're looking the same, we're not standing out. So what a boudoir photographer is doing is they're actually clicking, everyone's link, open up everyone's website, every contact form, every whatever submission form, getting a quote, comparing prices, waiting, negotiating, why should I buy now, trying to get the most for the least. It's wasting everyone's time. And most of these contact forms fill out don't even convert anyway. So just waste, waste, waste. So business dies slowly in this case, if only having 1 slot, page 1 Google search. And 0, 1 slots, page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. That's common. It's accepted to have 0, 1 slots, page 1 Google search, but it's not normal. Now, these 2 deeper root causes are market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, yeah, basically everyone knows about this one. More peeps joining. Basically, peeps kind of naturally upgrade their gear over time. New iPhone, new camera. And as they get new gear, they're actually throwing up their Google My Business profile saying they shoot boudoir, throwing up their website saying they're a boudoir photographer. They are, increasing basically the amount of times they post in the mom groups on Facebook saying they offer boudoir photo shoots. So all this is more sellers, more boudoir photographers for the same number of buyers, makes it harder for every other boudoir photographer in the market. This is market saturation. Then we have false belief page 1 equality. Yeah, very few peeps know about this one. This is kind of like boudoir photographers naturally assumed that, they basically naturally assumed that each boudoir photographer gets, kind of just gets 0, 1 slots, page 1 on Google, and that's how it is. Maybe they had their page 1 slot 7. That's how market saturation happened. Now they're, page 2 slot 2. I'm like, oh well, that's simply what it is. Hopefully those people delete their websites so Google can bring us back up onto page 1. But no, this is the 100% incorrect mindset to have. This kind of a wait and see mindset. 100% wrong. What's actually true is Google will give us as many page 1 slots on Google search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords as we want, or as we put in the effort to acquire. AKA, we actually show Google we want. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search in only 10 days. This new methodology we developed. So I know for a fact the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. We also know that boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. And remember BSS, 0, 1 slots, page 1 Google search for page 2 or deeper. I mean, we're dying a fast death. We're disappearing there for page 1, 1 slot. We're dying a slow death. Both cases, we're disappearing boudoir photographer. And what actually happens is this kind of warning light, the warning flag, the check engine light, the canary in the coal mine that's telling us, hey, our boudoir photography business itself is now on the path to disappearing. But thankfully, we now have a solution. We've actually discovered that BSS, boudoir search sameness, 0, 1 slots, page 1 Google search, is treated with social search saturation, aka S-Cube's methodology. And it works exactly like it says, social search saturation. We saturate social search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. So we show up there. And when we do this, it's kind of like the snow at the top of the Andes Mountains down there in South America, the eastern side, the backside of those mountains, where what happens is that snow melts, water drains into small streams, small rivers, and eventually it all flows, gets collected in the large Amazon River. Now, that is large Amazon River is page one Google search. That's exactly what it is. And we actually, so it all starts with the snow at the top of the Andes Mountains, because that all starts with the inputs. That's key methodology. We gotta get the snow up there first for it to then melt and actually, flow into the large Amazon River. Now, SQ methodology, it's the only solution I've seen that actually allows boudoir photographers to have a chance to still grow their business in the presence of massive market saturation. And in a relatively quick, give them that opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. And the largest, kind of the only other solution I've seen that gives that same benefit, but not in a relatively quick time frame, is actually having a large, well-known brand. But again, dude, that takes like 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years, dude. AI's here, taking people's jobs. We don't have 5 to 10 years to build a brand. But what's interesting is SQ methodology, with my estimates, actually enables with boudoir photographer to build a large, well-known brand approximately 8x faster than standard methods, because we're seeing across so many different surfaces with much higher volume, much higher frequency, reaching much more of the highest intent people. And as a result, my estimate is, building that brand 8x faster to make market saturation matter even less. All right, so now an example. We are now going to, this will be a good one. We're now going to Bend, Oregon. And there's 1 million boudoir photographers there. And we are one of them. Everyone's got their websites and they offer boudoir photography. So it means page one Google search, ultra competitive with 1 million websites trying to rank there. And so we're like, all right, we ain't got no brand. We ain't got no time to create a brand. And so the only chance of us competing here is we actually got to be the first ones in our city to utilize S-Cube methodology. And as a result, let's say we crank it up to the max, like kind of way above anything the average boudoir photographer would do with S-Cube methodology. And let's say we're taking up the first 300 slots for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords across all of social search. And let's say that flows then onto Google. We're taking up the first 300 slots on Google for this highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. And 10 organic slots per page Google search. So dude, we're taking up like the first 30 pages. So guess what? If a boudoir buyer is searching for basically if a boudoir buyer is searching for a boudoir photo shoot in their city, and as a result, they're looking on different, social media searches and Google searches, we're basically the only one they can find. We're taking basically the first 300 slots everywhere. So they can't really find any competing boudoir photographers. So they basically hit slot 301. That's page 31 on Google. I already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So dude, who the heck's hitting page 31? Basically no one. So if we're essentially the only person they can find, the only boudoir photographer they can find, whose business is still growing in this market? Most likely ours. Whose business is dying, vanishing, going away, becoming invisible in this market? Most likely the other 999,999 other boudoir photographers. And so this is an example of what S-Cube methodology could enable for a boudoir photography business in an ultra saturated market. Now, once shared with S-Cube methodology, we now have page one visibility, P1V. Initial benefits, yeah, we're getting more slots to page one Google search, but interestingly, every new slot we get page one Google search, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. Basically you get to choose how many of our competitors go to page 2 and deeper, which means they're invisible to approximately 80% of the marketplace. So a lot of boudoir photographers actually really like this initial benefit. And page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. And this is where the GBC universe recommends having, hitting 3 out of 10 minimum for page one Google search. So hitting a minimum of 3 out of 10 slots. Because when we have that, Basically, every other boudoir photographer on page one will have one slot, but we'll have three, so we'll be dominating them. In the ultra rare case, someone else has two slots. Well, again, we got three slots, so we're still ultra dominating. We're still dominating them. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got a disappearing boudoir. This is our micro universe here. We got a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness, which is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, we have discovered a solution, S-cubed methodology. We achieve page one visibility. We become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. All right, now it's my results here. I'm going to dominate Google page one for the keyword BLCS boudoir. So what I did was started using S-cubed methodology, and let's see the results. So slot one, we're getting slot one Instagram, me. Slot two, me. Slot three, me. Slot four, me. Slot five, me. Slot six, me. Slot seven, me. Slot eight, me. Slot 10, me. So literally going from 0 out of 10 slots, page one Google search, to 9 out of 10 slots, page one Google search in only 10 days, exclusively using S-cubed methodology. Now the main event here, we're gonna check out this boudoir photography business, check out its local search, city search, see if we got any BSS, see if we're in the GBC recommended minimums. All right, so we're going to Henderson, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, let's see, Henderson, Nevada. All right, so let's see what we got. Nope. Nope. All right, we got 0 out of 10 for Henderson, Nevada, so we got BSS there. And now we're going to Las Vegas. All right, let's go. All right, so let's check this. All right, we got one. There we go. Boom, we got one. All right, so we got 1 out of 10. All right, so going back to our. All right, so local search Henderson. What's that? Is that part of Las Vegas? I believe that's my best guess. So we're at 0 out of 10 slots there. So we got BSS. We're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum. 3 out of 10 slots, page one, Google search. Las Vegas, we got 1 out of 10. So we still do have BSS with boudoir search sameness. And we also are not meeting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one of Google search. All right, so if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've done your local search, your city, local searches, city searches with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city, and you got 0-1 slots for any of them, at least one of them, and or you're not reaching the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one Google search for at least one of them, and you've accepted the false belief of page one equality is exactly that, a false belief. So you know we can actually take as many slots on page one Google search as we want. Then, well, Andrew's S-cubed methodology is the only solution to give you those slots, and it's actually something you've been waiting for. And you're loving the initial benefits, you know, more slots, page one Google search, kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one Google search, relegating them to, you know, page 2 or page 3 or deeper, and never actually having to kind of deal with them as competitors anymore, making them disappear to approximately 80% of Google searches, so approximately 80% of the market. And you understand the market saturation, yeah, more peeps buy new gear eventually become boudoir photographers, yeah, they kind of trickle in over time. But you're looking ahead and you're seeing, okay, AI is taking peeps jobs right now, and AI is definitely going to get better and better, so it's going to take more and more peeps jobs over time. And you understand, last time that happened, lots of peeps lost their job. COVID, massive wave of boudoir photographers came into the marketplace. So you're like, uh-oh, massive market saturation is coming, and you're realizing you actually need to fortify your position on page one, which means have so many links that of yours that Google wants to rank on page one that there's not enough space to rank them all. So you're actually link stuffing page 2, 3, 4 onward, and basically guaranteeing no current boudoir photographer can get onto page one, and basically no future boudoir photographer that comes after AI takes their job can ever get onto page one. And you're saying, well, how to get that many links? So you're saying, oh, S-cube methodology, that's the only solution. I can give you that fortification. And you're also understanding that when we successfully execute S-cube methodology every single day, we're actually creating we're actually creating like these invisible thematic keyword columns that are plugging into our brand, like kind of 360 degrees around our brand. And these are building up back-end keyword AI mindshare for the AI systems, AI searchers out there. And so every day we do this, successfully execute SQ methodology, we're actually increasing the probability that we show up here in AI overview. The most premium placement, we cannot purchase this. And so that's a future benefit of SQ methodology. Another future benefit of SQ methodology is we are actually higher probability that we show up in AI search. So ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Google, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. And this is huge. Increasing its probability every single day is huge because more and more people using AI search every single day. Last time I did AI search for Boudoir photographer in the city, I actually looked and it recommended me 3. So I went to look manually on Google and Facebook. Hey, how many boudoir photographers are actually in the city? Dude, there's like 60. So if AI is only recommended 3, we gotta get there. We gotta have so much back end AI keyword mindshare momentum that AI has to give recommend those positions to us. And you're also like the fact that my current plan is to work with only one boudoir photographer per city. So you're like, and yeah, you can get all these benefits, but also you can prevent your competitors from getting all these benefits, allowing you to build up a massive like AI mindshare gap, back-end AI keyword mindshare gap for the increased probability of recommended through AI overview and recommended through AI search. And you can actually deny your competitors getting that. So basically, you're able to build up a massive gap between you and your competitors and basically make it so big that current competing boudoir photographers can never achieve it or reach it, and future boudoir photographers can never that come in after AI takes their jobs can never catch you. So you decide you're a first mover on this, you can't miss out, and you actually want you're thinking conversely, if some other peeps, if one of your competitors were to get on the sign up with me first, you would actually lose out on all the benefits. Your competitor would begin all these links page 1, have so many links page 1 there'd actually be overflown to the future page 2, 3, 4. You would be relegated to page 2 or deeper, and we would obviously have the goal of making you have no chance to ever get to page 1. And then we'd be building a massive keyword, back-end AI keyword kind of momentum, mindshare to get recommended AI overview, Google search, and with all the AI search apps. And for you to compete, you'd actually have to go rederive S-cubed methodology on your own, and you'd never have any idea if you've derived it. Well, you'd have to drive it for the first time for yourself. You'd never know if you successfully 100% derived it correctly. And then you'd have to equal our execution every single day. And if you did that, you'd simply be maintaining the gap that we've already massively built ahead of you. And then once that happens, you would actually have to 2 to 3x our execution every single day to start closing that gap and pulling that back-end AI mindshare away from me and your competitor's brand back towards you. But since you're not even 100% confident you've derived it correctly in the first place, it's hard to put in that much effort to something you're not confident in. And when you actually think about it, you're like, dude, who's got 80 hours per day to do all this stuff? So you decide, screw that. You're actually going to be the first mover in your city, get all these benefits. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our DMs are currently closed. The hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, but when we do open our DMs for new patient intake, shoot us a DM and we will see if you qualify.